Ken, both of us had older brothers and sisters. Well, I had older sisters. You had older brothers and sisters.
Yes, but we both had the same amount of older sisters, so yeah.
And we're the babies of the family.
The favorites, yes.
Okay, the favorites, absolutely. Now, I do have a question to ask. Did you ever borrow your older siblings' mixtapes?
No, not their mixtapes.
Really?
Their albums.
Okay, so
And
you
of
actually
course-
just took the album. So my sisters had a lot of mixtapes laying around, as well as, the actual product from the store, right?
Yeah.
And the artist we're going to talk about today, Billy Squire, I distinctly remember discovering Billy Squire from my sister's mixtapes. I can still visualize the one tape. It was like the ugliest brown blank tape you'd ever seen. And I think one of their old boyfriends had made it for them. But they weren't really love songs. It was just rock songs.
Yeah.
Arena rock.
Yep.
Okay.
God, I
And
miss mixtapes.
yeah, and I still remember it to this day. It had Van Halen on it, the Scorpions, ZZ Top, Billy Squire. I discovered those bands. Billy Thorpe's Children of the Sun.
Oh,
I
wow.
discovered those songs, those bands through my sister's mixtapes. Okay? And so when we talk about Billy Squire and Everybody Wants You, just remember that I'm not looking at this as like a Billy Squire fan. I'm looking at this as someone who discovered so much music through mixtapes.
As a kid who discovered so much music, which is why we're here.
Right.
The love had to start somewhere, man.
No, absolutely. And, the song we're talking about today isn't even the first Billy Squire song I ever heard. The song that I remember clearly from Billy Squire was The Stroke.
Oh yeah, and also, and funny thing, because when that came out, you weren't living here.
No.
Whereas since that song came out up until now in this town, that song is like a staple. You can't throw a rock or take a breath of air without hearing that song every day.
But remember, I came from the Midwest. And
Yeah,
the
but-
Midwest is still playing all of that classic rock on
and
Overload.
that's what I'm saying. It's crazy because where you came from, still playing it. In here, we're still playing it here too.
And the first thing I said is hey man, let's talk about a Billy Squire song.
And the first thing I said, we're not doing The Stroke.
No, absolutely. That was the very first thing you said. And then I said, well, how about
Everybody Wants You.
Everybody Wants You? And that's today's song. Now, this was 1982.
Yes.
This is from the Emotion in Motion album. Emotions in Motion.
Emotions and Motions, yes. And had him there and the bold colors.
Yeah.
I remember the album
Now,
cover.
that album art, Andy Warhol.
See, snap. I did not know that.
I didn't either till I looked at Wikipedia, just to be honest.
But you know what, though? It makes sense because, man, the Stones, their symbol, their emblem, the lips, the tongue, Warhol.
Yep.
He was a force.
No, I mean,
Can't deny
Andy
it.
Warhol was hanging out with musicians ever since he'd been in that Velvet Underground, whatever.
So the fact, and Billy Squire was the name. So yeah.
Right. And so this song, top 40 hit, number 32,
Yeah.
but number 1 on the mainstream rock chart. Like I said, rock and roll FM radio,
Yeah.
the song was all over. You couldn't escape it.
Yo, brother, I love this song. This song, my childhood, because this was on MTV and you couldn't escape it.
And that's funny because I do not remember this video. Because remember, I didn't get MTV till 83. The song was out in 82.
Yeah. And the crazy thing, because as we're sitting here and, watching and prepping, yeah, man, that was definitely an early 80s video.
It was so nondescript.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just these guys on a balcony snapping their fingers because, the song has that catchy snap to it. Just playing. And it was some of the most uninspired playing I'd ever seen in a music video.
Yeah, and it's crazy because when I think of Billy Squire music videos, Rock Me Tonight's the one that's memorable compared to this one.
Let's hold off on that.
But I'm just saying, video-wise,
no,
that's
but
the one
for all
that
the wrong
actually-
reasons.
Yeah, I'm not saying because it's great. I'm just saying because, of his songs, I can, the 80s, and we've discussed this, or I mentioned this to you in private. Billy Squire is a product of the MTV platform as far as he had a career, but MTV definitely made or pushed him over the top.
It put him over the top, and it also killed his career.
Yeah, well.
Here you go. Ooh, let me take that away from you.
Yeah. It's like, hey, well, oh, cocaine makes me stay awake all day, but we don't know the side effect. Now we do.
Well, let's look at his resume. Because he has a good resume.
Yeah.
3 platinum selling albums.
Mm-hmm.
Sold out arenas in the early 80s. 4 top 40 hits. And remember, a lot of these hard rock songs, they're not hitting the top 40.
Yeah.
You know? But no, you had 4 top 40 hits. Had a lot of songs that were being played on the radio. Lonely is the Night,
Yep.
In the Dark, The Stroke,
Yeah.
Everybody
absolutely.
Wants You, The
Absolutely.
Big Beat. Now let's talk about The Big Beat real quick. The song itself was from his album Tell of the Tape from 1980.
Mm-hmm.
Been sampled or used in hip-hop or rap songs, been sampled over 300 times. So even when Billy Squire's career wrapped up and nobody wanted to hire him except Ringo Starr,
Yeah.
still collecting checks.
Hey, baby. And so, guess what other artists that he helped break/get their foot in the door?
Who?
Bon Jovi.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he helped John Bon Jovi get it off the ground.
Huh.
This is history.
I did not know that. Now, for me, Billy Squier, I always got him confused with Kevin Cronin of REO Speedwagon.
Okay, there.
like the drunk version. The drunk version of REO. Seriously, man, that's the best way I could describe it. You know, they kind of had the same hairdo,
Yeah, no, I
same
feel
long
you.
face.
I feel you.
But I do remember, and you mentioned it earlier. So, like I said, Billy Squier's on the way up, man. Platinum albums. Even the album that the song Rock Me Tonight was from went platinum. But then he made that video. Dancing around in his bedroom. Some of the worst white boy dancing you've ever seen. Rolling around on his bed. No pretty ladies in the video.
Yeah, it was just him. I don't get that.
It was the weirdest video of all time. And a lot of people credit that for killing his career. Like, one, who said, hey, this is a good idea?
There's that. Yeah.
And to be fair, we've said it many times, 1980s was the decade of cocaine. Somebody probably on cocaine thought, oh, you know, it'd be a great video. You in a halter top, dancing like a white boy, rolling around on a bed. Right?
I can't even. I got nothing, man.
That has to be what it was. All right. So now that we've talked about his career, let's go to the song itself. Okay?
Well,
now,
yeah, I just got to give one other shout out to Billy Squire, man. So, yeah, we mentioned MTV made him. You got to remember. So, and I think it's probably, as you mentioned, before you got MTV, back in the day, he had a Christmas song, you know? And so, every year come Christmas when we talk, hear about Mariah Carey. Oh, and her songs played this many times this year.
Wham's Last Christmas.
And yeah, well, where'd all that start? And I remember, and I was telling you, I remember the video, and it was at MTV Studios and the VJs and a bunch of other people. And I'm like, wow. In hindsight, where we are now as grown men, we can see how that had to have had an influence, the feasibility of it.
No, I agree.
I can see how Bob Geldof saw that, because every Christmas that was a staple on MTV.
I don't even remember seeing that back in the day.
So I can see how he saw that and then thinking about, hey, how can I do my part to help these starving people, putting together for Band-Aid, which, boom, that USA for Africa, and wham, boom. And so then you have these artists doing these Christmas songs. So I'm like, yeah, hey, man, I can see. Where did it come from? This guy, this obscure guy we're talking about right here.
Yeah, and look, Billy Squier, like, he has accolades. You know, and then he toured with Ringo Starr for years in his all-star band. So,
and a random story, just maybe about 10, 20 years ago. Just a random thing I read one of my geek magazines back in the day. Someone was injured side of a mountain, something like that, and he was there and he helped and rescued them.
On the side of a mountain?
Mountain, road, something isolated, like desolate. But he saved someone's life.
I was not expecting the name of today's show to be called Billy Squier, the hero.
Hey.
You know. Anyway, let's get back to the song. So this song, Everybody Wants You. If I would have said to you, hey, let's do a Billy Squier album, I would not have picked Emotions. I would have picked the album before this, Don't Say No, which had so many radio staples
Yeah.
on it. But if you told me pick the best Billy Squire song, I'm probably going to pick this one. And this song is strange for us to talk about, Ken. You're a guitarist. There's a catchy guitar riff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right? We know that. We know instantly when we hear that, oh, that's Billy Squire.
And it grabbed me as a kid before I even played
That's
guitar.
right. But there's no guitar solo in this song.
I know, and that has always, since the first time I heard this song, that other than that bend, that unison bend, yeah, that's it. Just always worked my
Now,
nerves.
how would you describe his voice? Because I always say it's like a screech. You know, like a... I don't know, man. He has that distinct voice. You know it's Billy Squire?
Yeah.
I don't think it's an inviting voice. It's not a voice I want to hear. But he makes it work.
He does. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Now, funny thing, I would say that he could probably pull off a good Robert Plant.
Really?
Yeah. And the thing
Maybe.
is, even though I agree with everything you said, I think he has it in him to where he could dial it in.
Maybe he could have been a member of Kingdom Come or something.
Or we're going to skip that.
I don't know, man. But seriously, I've never liked Billy Squire's voice. But I like his songs. Maybe that's just his credit as a songwriter.
Yeah, that's his thing. You know what? Snap. You know, that's something I've never pulled that thread to see if maybe he's written songs for other people.
Right.
Because you're right. Yeah, he has hit it on the head. His voice, but with his songs, it's perfect. And so I'm curious if maybe he does write or has written songs for other artists that have taken off.
So,
almost like the Bee Gees or something.
So for people out there smarter than me and Ken, and that's not hard.
Yeah.
If you know anything about Billy Squire writing songs for other artists, let us know in the comments. But I was shocked because we just talked that there's no guitar solo in this song.
Yeah.
Wikipedia said there were 3 guitarists on it. I'm like, really? Where?
Yeah. It's
They're
like
all doing that riff in unison or something?
Like you could have just overdubbed those cats.
Now, what did strike me is that members of Queen actually sang backup on the album. Not this song, but on the album. And Queen had a huge album in 1980 called The Game.
Yes.
And it had Another One Bites the Dust
Yep.
and Play the Game and a crazy little thing called Love. And it was produced by a guy named Mac. Well, guess who produced Everybody Wants You and this album?
Oh, let me guess.
Mac. That's right. And so you kind of get that because that was the first Queen album to incorporate synthesizers and keyboards.
Whereas this song,
Definitely
very
you hear
heavy.
those keyboards
Yeah.
in there. And so you almost know, like, look, this is the 80s. We're changing our style.
Yep.
We're
Yep.
making sure we get those keyboards in there.
yeah.
And Billy Squire didn't run away from keyboards. Don't Say No had them all over the
Oh,
album.
yeah.
So
And,
it's
you
just
know,
the 80s.
Exactly. It's the 80s. Watch the video, man. Those shirts, no sleeves, baby. That was what. Hey, back in 3rd grade, 2nd grade, how many kids? I'm sure you probably had one of those shirts, brother.
Probably, man.
Yeah.
I try not to dig out those pictures from the 80s.
But that's how it was. It was that force. It was
Yeah.
that wave. You can't fight it. You just got to ride it.
About 40 pounds overweight in bad fashion, man. You know, just try and keep that in the closet. Anyway, so we talked about the video earlier. Very nondescript, very uninspired. Okay, but when we talk about the lyrics,
Yeah.
there's just certain lines, man. Like strung on pretension, they fall for you at first sight. Like, you know what? It's he's talking about the other side of the rock and roll lifestyle here. Like, hey, look, it's not just the fans and your people that are going to your concerts that are wanting you. It's everybody else pushing and pulling on you. The magazines, the bosses,
Yeah.
But it's weird because it almost feels like a working man's anthem.
Well, the musician, the celebrity, he is a working man. And yeah, we see him on top and whatever accolades or debauchery. He wasn't born that way.
Right.
You know, he started out in the dive bars and doing all the nasty things. Music the places, not selling his morals probably, but I'm just saying he started out from the grime, and so he worked his way, hustled, chipped away at his craft. So yeah, he is up there, but even up there, there are the things that come along with that. Of again, like I said, the interviews, the magazines, the this, the that. You're still subject to somebody. It's like, oh, I made it, and now this is my new list of demands.
That's right. No, and look, right? You got your glory. You paid for it all.
And then you get your pension in loneliness and alcohol.
So there's a cost to your fame. There's a cost to the reward.
Brother,
and that's what it is.
And that line has stuck out since the first time I heard this song as a little boy, before I even knew what a pension was.
Had no idea what it meant.
Yeah, no clue. But it resonated. And as I've grown, and now I understand this song.
Your little corrupt mind was like, ooh, alcohol. Yeah. That's a drug. I have to hear my 8-year-old say that. Daddy, alcohol's a drug. I know. Anyway. But yeah, no, great catchy song. Billy Squire, like I said, man, he's always going to get paid from the big beat.
Yep.
Ringo Starr's paying him to tour with him.
And I love it, brother.
He's on the radio.
Because I always say, I love when musicians get paid for their work and their craft.
His fall from grace was kind of sad because the song Rock Me Tonight isn't even a bad song, just a bad video.
Yes.
And I think about this because it's almost like if MTV had gone a different way, if rock radio had gone a different way, if, you always woulda, coulda, shoulda, what would have happened to Billy Squire's career if it didn't sink or get torpedoed like that? But, I mean, changes were coming, man. Glam rock, glam metal was coming along. Yep. Speed and death metal were coming along. And we saw this with a lot of these arena rock acts that were kind of nondescript, looking like REO Speedwagon, where their careers just dissipated. They just, they weren't for the times anymore. And that happens. But anyway.
that happens.
So anyway, if you enjoyed today's show, please hit the like button. If you have any comments on Billy Squire, we'd love to hear them in the comments.
If you saw him live, let us know.
Yeah, how is he live? Even if it was with Ringo Starr. Because they played this song with Ringo Starr.
Oh, that's got to be awesome. Because you know what, man? I hope he was smart with his money, and I hope that Billy is living, just, I want to say fat, dumb, and happy, but I hope he's doing well and a happily ever after.
No, I do too, man. And if you want to hear more shows like this, please hit the subscribe button. Bye-bye.
Peace.